Welcome to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue to follow the boys and girls athletic programs of the Tulsa Public Schools. And a good show lined up for you today. Gil Cloud, Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, will be aboard and bring us up to date what is happening in the athletic department. And then we're going to visit with his staff about their job during the spring and how the sports continue to increase. And then, of course, we're going to visit with a baseball coach and a new football coach. All of that coming up right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to tulsarefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. tulsarefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
We continue Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the Coordinator of Sports Medicine for the Tulsa Public Schools, Steve Freebus. And Steve, when we take a look at what is happening with the regional coming up, and sports medicine has become so important.
Yeah, we've got track and field. That's one of my responsibilities is track and field, and there's a lot of different kids, a lot of different sports events out there, and keeping everybody healthy this time of year. It's been a long season. They've been practicing since December 1, and from shin splints to sore shoulders and aching legs, and it's tough keeping them ready to go. We got just a couple more weeks, and we hope to see some good results.
Now, you have been doing this for several years. You've seen a lot of changes in maybe the attitude of athletes as to at one time, if they were hurt, they wouldn't tell you. They'd go ahead and play hurt. Now they let you know. Has all of that begun to kind of iron out and get on the good, safe side?
Yeah, it's where in the past they're thinking, oh, that athletic trainer there is to pull me off the field. And that is not my job. My job is to try to keep you competing for as long and as safe as possible. And so I want to know about the little stuff. So some people get frustrated, oh, they're just whiny, their knee hurts, their shins hurt. But I'd rather know about it sooner than later, because I want to be able to, maybe we can keep you going. I can discuss with the coach and we can modify the workout a little bit. We can, just make little changes, subtle changes. Treat it early when it's small, so that when I come and see you and you say, yeah, it's been hurting for the last month, and now we really need to take some time off, it's tough, but I'd rather do it when it's early.
Well, I can understand that. And when you take a look at the regionals that are coming up here in Tulsa, you have a lot of responsibility from the medical standpoint with those events coming up, don't you?
With all these regionals, we have 5 teams going to Claremore. We've got 2 teams going to Tahlequah for the regionals. That's in the 5A. Central and Webster already had their regional. They were at Catoosa last weekend, and I know Central's a little dinged up. They were running some of their alternates in the relays. They both Central got their 4x100 and their 4x200 in the to state, and Webster's got about 3 kids going to state. Central has 2 other kids that are going to state, so they're doing good, but they're limping along. Central placed 3rd overall. Webster was 10th overall in their regional, and so we're making some progress there. And the same thing with the teams that are competing this weekend. There's a lot of events. They're trying to do many different things, and it's a game of chess. Who do you put where? What other teams? Okay, so you're a little dinged. We could still run you in this event, or do I save you for that event? How much can I get out of you? Weather plays a big part of it, and this time of year it's so dicey with the weather. Is it going to be a cold, windy day? Is it going to be a hot day? So we've got to deal with kids. If it's been cold, are they hydrating well enough? These track meets are all day long, and they're trying to get out of the sun and get off their feet, perform at their best, warm up at the right time. It's not an easy task for both the coach and the athlete.
Steve, you mentioned something that always comes to my mind, that in track anymore, it seems like in the 5A and lower classifications, and more so in the lower, that those track players have to participate in some other sport, which I think it is good that they come from a winter sport into a spring sport. Do you find that is happening more often now?
Unfortunately, track is, I don't want to say it's dying, but the overall numbers are dwindling. We're still having great performances, but you don't have the numbers of kids that used to come out. It seems like my generation, everybody ran track in high school. You just talk to anybody, oh yeah, I ran track. But now it's more select few, and I think the kids are thinking, well, if I can't score or win medals, then I'm not going to try. And it's not necessarily that you're trying to be the best track athlete out there, but you are trying to improve for your other sport that you might be better at, whether it's basketball or wrestling or cross country or football, volleyball. I mean, I always say the volleyball players and the basketball players need to come out and jump. I mean, that's what they do all day long. They got to come out and jump. And your weight guys, for good footwork on the offensive line or defensive line, there's nothing harder than spinning in a circle and traveling in a line with a shot put, or spinning in circles and maintaining your balance in discus. I mean, that's what these guys do, and footwork is so important, and coordination and keeping your hips underneath you and center of gravity. So it's and just running. I mean, learning how to run with best form and conditioning and competing, that finding that inner struggle that you can overcome. That's what all our sports do. And so I don't want them to take the whole spring off and just not compete. The athlete needs that mental, looking forward to something every single week. I've got that next competition. And it's not necessarily, people don't realize that they're scoring through 6 places. They may only medal through 3, but your 1 point can be the difference someplace down the road, of helping that relay team pick up something.
I think it is so great that when you talk to people 45, 50 years old that are still in good shape and they're out jogging, they had been out for track, not the most successful, but they had been participating, and it was always a lot of fun. Steve, it's always a pleasure having you aboard, and we can sit here and talk this for a long time, but best of luck.
Thank you very much.
Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
Hey, you.
Yeah, you. Getting that college education? What are you gonna do? Graduate and take some office job? Be like everybody else?
Or will you dare do something different?
Like, be a teacher. You could be my teacher. You got the skills.
The smarts?
Yes, you.
You could be the teacher I never forget.
That'd be cool.
Does that corporate job even have recess? What are you gonna make of yourself?
What are you gonna make of me?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard Assistant Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Jen Sanders. And Jen, when we take a look at what is going on in the spring, it just seems like that every time you turn around, there's something else going. And I know you're interested in tennis, and we have some good tennis going on.
That's right. One of the sports that I sponsor is tennis, and we had the girls' regional tennis match yesterday at La Fortune, or the Case Center, and then, of course, at Cascia Hall. And I'm proud to say that we got a few kids into the state tournament this year. Libby Benedict from Edison, she's a junior. She's going to be competing at the state tournament not next week, but the following week. And then, of course, Booker T. Washington got their number 1 and number 2 doubles teams in, Kate Hubner and Victoria Nunez, and then, of course, Callie Hall and Caroline Go. So, it's just an exciting time for those girls, and I'm sure they were super excited when they found out that they had made it into the tournament. So, and our boys, they will play next Monday at Cascia Hall and at the Case Center as well.
Well, I think it's great that when we have spring sports, we have tennis and golf, so many times it seems like those sports kind of begin to dwindle in the number that go out. So when you are qualifying for the state, that's good.
Yeah, it gives some kids some incentive to get out there and practice and understand that, you can make it to state too. So it's really exciting, and we have a large tennis community here in Tulsa, and the support that they've shown us the past few years has been really, really great.
Well, we want to wish them the very best of luck, and then we want to turn to something that I think is so much fun, that you have done such a tremendous job, and that's the upcoming elementary track meet. And to see those little kids, they're not trying to break a 100-yard dash time. They're just competing, and it's so much fun.
Yeah, you know, every year this is a huge event for our schools, and the kids are so excited. They practice, you know, the whole entire spring. They compete against the folks in their school. Each school gets to send 2 boys and 2 girls for each event. And so they're the fastest kids in their school.
Yeah.
So it's exciting, and those kids get out there and they compete. And you know, we do it a little bit different at the elementary level. We don't have them compete against each other, even though you're running against that person next to you. You're probably going to try your best to beat them. Their ribbons are really based on a rubric or some standards. So if you get below this time, then you get a first place ribbon, and so forth and so on. So it really just, incentivizes kids to really compete against their own time to get faster and faster each and every time.
Jen, how long have you been doing this?
This will be my 3rd year for the track meet, and each year it's bigger and bigger. Last year we had about 25 schools. This year we're up to 31. So it's getting bigger and bigger. We may end up having to, I'll have to talk about this, but we may end up having to split it up into 2 days for our kids, or at least do a morning and an afternoon. But it's just so much fun, and the kids are so excited.
You know what's going to be exciting? Let's say in 6 years, when those kids get up into high school, you're going to see some of those names come back again, and then you're going to remember what they were doing back in the elementary years, and now they're up there competing, and I bet you some of them going to college.
That's exactly right, and in fact, we've had quite a few of our PE teachers that have been here for years, and they go to the state track meet every year because they're like, I coached that kid when he was in 3rd grade. So it's a lot of fun. Everyone here in Tulsa, we're a big family, and we feel like, together we've helped these kids, move along and improve themselves athletically and academically.
Well, there's something else that you're involved in, and that's the bike club. And kind of bring us up to date on what's going on in that organization.
This is a really exciting time for Bike Club. This is the time of year that all of our kiddos that have completed Bike Club, and they finished out the year and they've ridden so many miles, this is the time of year that we give away their bikes. And the kids don't know this going into it. They just think they're joining this club. But at the end of the year, Jason Horton of Humble & Sons, and of course the Tulsa Bike Club, they sponsor bikes, and they buy these kiddos bikes. And so their last Bike Club meeting will show up. 2 men in a truck will be there. They sponsor delivering all of our bikes, and the kids get a brand new bike to take home. And the idea is that hopefully they'll ride it to school, and that they, continue to do all these really great things, and be active and have a little bit of freedom. I mean, riding a bike gives you that freedom to go places.
Now, how long have you had this going?
Bike Club has been here for about 4 years. This will be my 3rd year to be a part of it, but it's just an exciting group. We have 14 bike clubs. We're going to add a few more. I can't really say who those are yet, but we have folks applying every day wanting a bike club at their school.
What do you think it'll be like in 10 years?
Well, what I hope it happens in 10 years is that when we have the Tulsa Tough, we have a former bike club kid that wins the Tulsa Tough. So last year we had about 4 of our kids that were former bike club kids that are now in like 7th and 8th grade, and they're riding in Tulsa Tough, the juniors division. So cycling's a huge thing here in Tulsa, and the cycling community has really wrapped their arms around our bike club kiddos, and there's some interest there, and it's a really great thing.
Jen, it's always a pleasure having you aboard, and I can tell by your excitement that it's going to be fun watching those kids participate and how much it's helping them, and we look forward to having you again.
Thank you, JP.
Stay with us, more coming up on Inside Tulsa Athletics.
They said I have troll teeth.
That my voice sounded like a possessed baby doll.
That no one would ever love someone as stupid as me.
That I was fat, ugly.
Disgusting.
The effect of bullying is potent.
We will no longer be the silent majority.
Now, when you see online bullying, there's something you can do about it.
We're gonna take action with the I.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness.
I am a witness, and so are you.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
We continue inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard Mick Wilson, who is the Assistant Director of Athletics here at the Tulsa Public Schools. And Mick, when we take a look at what's happening in soccer, I just can't believe the growth that we've had. And we are looking at a possible boys and girls state championship in soccer. They have a chance.
Our soccer has really, it's really improved. It's really grown. The interest throughout the district has really grown. I'm really starting to kind of make it similar to our basketball this time of year. When you look at the bracket and you say, "Wow, there's how many Tulsa Public Schools are in the state playoffs?" And it's an exciting time for us because we've got some teams that are really playing well. Not only the odds-on favorite, such as East Central boys or the Booker T girls, but several other schools really have some strong teams and are ready to make a run here late in the school year.
Where do you think the interest for this has just really developed? It seems to me like the last 3 years that every spring and even during the winter when they start working out, that soccer is just growing like no one would believe it would have.
Well, I think part of that is our interest in the district and throughout the city in a lot of our recreational leagues. We've set in on some meetings early on about 6 years ago with Nancy McDonald, who is really supportive of Tulsa Public Schools, and we started some elementary soccer leagues through our PE classes, all the way over to Gilcrease Elementary with Jermaine Watkins and some of the things that he's been able to do and drive our interest in soccer. But I think it starts really with our youth and a lot of our youth leagues. And then one thing that I'm really proud of is 6 years ago we were able to start junior high soccer. Gil and I had kind of had a vision that we wanted to do junior high soccer, and our numbers in junior high soccer have really grown. And all those feeders feed into our high schools, and those kids matriculate right into the high school soccer programs. And it's been exciting to see the growth of those leagues, and then the growth of our junior high soccer, and then the success of our high school soccer program. So I think it all works hand in hand, JV, that we're able to continue to make our soccer that much better.
You know what it kind of reminds me of, Mick, is I go back in time when it seemed like there were so many different adults that wanted to help with baseball. And it seemed like that every kid was playing baseball. And now when I go by parks, I see them playing soccer. I don't care where you are, metropolitan Tulsa. If it's if it's not just pouring down rain, you will see them out there playing soccer, and you'll see some adults out there too. So I think the interest has come just from the population, and that the parents want their kids to play.
Well, it's funny that you bring that analogy up, because our baseball you have seen a decline in the participation of baseball. At the same time, you've seen the increase in the participation in soccer. And you're exactly right. There's action on all our turf fields all throughout the weekend, even with our adult soccer league. It's just crazy the growth and the popularity of soccer. But we really have a lot of family support and people from home that are really urging these kids to get involved. And the other thing is with that participation in soccer, these kids know they have to keep their grades up in order to participate. So I think it's helped increase our academic performance in the classroom with our success with soccer. So our kids really enjoy playing. They're successful. They work hard at it, and they take a lot of pride in their performance as well.
You know, that's funny, because the soccer coaches that I've talked to, every one of them has brought out what you just said about grades, that if you're going to play soccer, you're going to pass. You're going to do what's right in the classroom. And seeming like we used to do that in all sports, but maybe not as much. But if soccer's taking the lead on it, bless them.
Absolutely. They do a great job. Our soccer coaches really do a good job of emphasizing the athletic and academic eligibility of being able to get these kids to perform, and I think they understand that. But it's been a great year of seeing these kids really get excited about soccer, and seeing these kids also perform well in the classroom.
Has the interest in soccer overflowed into the girls? Are we having as many girls play soccer as maybe as we boys? What is happening in that area?
Probably the numbers aren't as good, but they're solid. I mean, we're getting good participation all across the board. The boys have been off the chart as far as tryouts and the numbers and the interest, but the girls aren't far behind, and that's one program we're going to continue to see grow as well, is the growth of our girls soccer. But there's some teams out there that are pretty darn good, like we talked about earlier. Edison and Booker T both have solid programs. And those kids really look forward to participating, but some of our others are starting to break through and gaining their numbers as well.
You know, when I see one of the scores where it's 1-0, if they win 1-0, that team that didn't score, I mean, that's competitive, isn't it?
It's very, very common, but I think it shows you that those teams play good defense and they compete really well.
Mick, we want you to stay with us. We need to take a time out. Then we want to come back and talk about the 6th annual golf tournament that's coming up here that has been a big event that's been put on by the athletic department. So stay with us. We're going to take a break, and then we're coming back with Mick right after this.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue visiting with Mick Wilson, who is Associate Athletic Director for the Tulsa Public Schools. And, you know, we're talking about golf. The 6th annual, but actually it's been 22 years that the Tulsa Public Schools put on a golf tournament. But the 6th one with you and Gil Cloud and your group and LaFortune, it has just been successful.
It's one tremendous day of fun with a great group of athletic supporters that we have not only here in the city but throughout the state, and we'd occasionally get some out-of-state teams. Lennox heating and air conditioning folks usually come, and they send a team from Dallas. So one of my good friends, Spencer McKee, is one of our contacts for him, but Spencer usually will bring a team from Dallas, and those guys will come and play, and it's just a great day of fun. It's this actually, JV, this will be the 20th annual this year, but it is the 6th year that Gil and our staff and all of us have helped put on, and it's just a great, successful day, a lot of fun. It's great to see a lot of people that support us, not only monetarily, but attend a lot of the events. People such as yourself that come out and just like to hang around, and sometimes they don't play, but sometimes they do. And if they don't, we'll give you a golf cart and you can drive around and harass and heckle all the guys that are playing. So it's always the first Friday in June, and this year it happens to be June 1st. We have, since we've taken over the golf tournament, it's always been played at LaFortune Park. Our good friends and staff out there, and the director, Pat McCrate. In fact, I visited with Pat yesterday, and he's such a great supporter and helps us put on such a great event. His staff is excellent to us and has always been. They take good care of us. But we do lunch at noon, and of course people that want to come before lunch can go out and hit balls and practice and get on the putting green and things like that, and then we'll have a shotgun start at 1 p.m. and it's a great day of golf. Really
you know, when you mentioned the lunch, that's always such a delightful 2 hours, because they start serving at about 11 and go on into about 1. And the people, they will be visiting at this table, and then they'll go over. You see so many that you haven't seen in a long time. And it just seems like that every one of them is there to have a good time. They don't talk about winning the golf tournament. They talk about the good time they're having.
Well, they talk about the good time they're having, and they talk about some of the good times they had, because we also get, as you know, a lot of retired administrators and coaches. John Phillips and Steve Cooper and some of those guys come back and play. And of course, it's like fishing stories. You know, the fish they caught may have been 8 ounces when they caught it, but by the time they tell the story 20 years later, it was a pound and a half. You know, so they just you get a lot of lies and jokes and a lot of fun. But those guys are always fun to be around and here to tell the stories. But you're right. It's you spend 2 hours before you even go out and start swinging the golf club of visiting with all your old friends and partners.
Yeah, it's always funny when they start talking about what they shot, and they were under par. Oh, come on. You didn't shoot 70. You, as a person, now you might as a team, but as a person, no.
Well, the problem is, JV, they didn't tell you that they bought 12 mulligans to be able to do that.
That's true too. And that is important because everyone who plays in that tournament, Mick, is having fun. And where can you go anymore and have fun for over a half a day?
Well, we try to make it as fun as we can. We have a lot of games and a lot of contests and things and raffles and things that people get excited about. We try to make sure that everyone goes home from the golf tournament not only feeling good about their experience, but with something to take home, materialistically. And this year, we're providing every golfer, once you register and pay, will receive a pullover, long sleeve pullover that's actually provided by our sponsor, BSN, helps us, and Nike helps us provide those for the golfers. In the last several years, we've provided nice polos, and this year we decided to do a nice pullover. So we try to send them home with something that has Tulsa Public Schools on it, and we try to make sure that everyone goes home with some type of prize or even money in some cases if they won the putting contest or something like that. So it's a good day of generating support not only for the schools, but for our students as well, because all this, the proceeds that we generate and raise will help us support a lot of our endeavors for our programs.
Well, go over once again so that our viewers, who they need to contact, the date and everything, so they can become a part of this great golf tournament.
Once again, the tournament's Friday, June 1st. We will have registration at 11 a.m. and pre-registration is going on now by contacting Lisa or myself here in the athletic offices. And then once pre-registration is over, we'll have lunch at noon, and then we'll have a shotgun start at 1 o'clock, and that's there at LaFortune Park Golf Course at 61st and Yale.
And they just need to pick up the telephone and call the athletic department of the Tulsa Public Schools, give them their name, and everything will be taken care of, and they'll be a part of that great golf tournament.
And the most important thing is they can pay by check. We'll also take credit card, and we always take cash.
Hey, any way they want to pay, you'll take it.
We'll take it.
Always a pleasure, Mick, having you aboard. The very best of luck with the golf tournament. Look forward to having lunch and telling some stories that will be a little larger, maybe a little more untruthful this year than they were last year.
Well, I guess you and I can hold court and tell a few stories, and we'll make them really good.
Yeah. Thanks for being aboard. Stay with us. More coming up on Inside Athletics right after this.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue visiting sports about the Tulsa Public Schools. And we want to welcome aboard Willie Ponder, who is the new head football coach at McLean High School. And Willie, it's always a pleasure having you aboard, and time has passed so quickly.
Yes.
A 1998 Tulsa Central grad. Kind of give us your background.
Well, like you said, I am a 1998 state champion from Tulsa Central basketball. That's one thing that will stick with me. But born and raised here in Tulsa, North Tulsa guy. Mom and dad, Booker T graduates. Just happy to be back here in Tulsa, doing something that I think that helped pave the way for my life when it comes to football and athletics. And came back, got a chance to go coach college ball and learn a lot. And now I want to get back and give it back to the North Side kids that my roots.
Well, give us your background in coaching college.
Okay, I started coaching at Tulsa Central in 2010. This was after I got my NFL career. I got blessed to play 4 years in the NFL after my college career. Started coaching, coached D'Angelo Brewer at Central. Currently, that's at the University of Tulsa. Shamar Robinson, coached a couple of guys at Central, then had a chance to go to Colorado Mesa and coached there the past 2 seasons. Oh, prior to that, sorry about that, I went to Southeast Missouri State, where the college that I went from, got my alma mater, where I got my degree from. Went back there. That's where my first college coaching opportunity came from. 2014, got my degree, finished that up, which was very important for me. And then coached there, then took a year off, had a young child. Now coached 2 years at Colorado Mesa University, Division II there, and got a chance to back-to-back conference champions there in Colorado Mesa. So a little journey.
And now you're back home.
Back home. Home is where the heart is. It's very comfortable here. And I think I had the opportunity to stay up there in Colorado Mesa. I got a chance to do an internship with the Philadelphia Eagles this past season during training camp, which was very good. A lot of relationships that I gained, a lot of experience that I gained. But just being up there, after our season in Colorado, they're like, so are you going to come back? And I was thinking, I had kind of still always thinking about Tulsa, just because of the kids in that area. They just need a little guidance and help. And that was just where my passion was. It just kept calling me. So when I got a McLean maybe coming open, I said, okay, I'm going to keep looking at that and keep looking at it. And then got a call. They were needing teachers. The teachers, so that was the first step, was to get in the building. I teach English 3 and 4 now at McLean, and that kind of helped me with my transition process going into being hired as the head football coach. Kind of let me see what I was into. I think McLean is a great place. It needs the discipline. It needs that. I think, but there's great student athletes there, and not only just student athletes, but students as a whole.
When you take a look at McLean, you said you went in up there, in February of this year?
Yes.
What has happened as far as interest? Has the young men been interested now in football that maybe weren't interested before?
Yeah. It's like they asked, one of the interview questions, how do you plan to get kids to come out for the program? Well, I said, well, I tell you what, every day a kid comes up to me, you new football coach? Oh, I'm playing football. I tell them, though, it's not going to be easy. I tell them that everybody wants to do it. I think it comes from a former NFL player being their coach, or just a guy that, shows passion for them, because I really do care for those kids. And that's something that I think that they want to be around. So kids are always saying it, but I'll see how much of that stands come August and that heat comes out on them and they're out there and really doing it. But yeah, the kids they are gravitating towards it and they want to be a part of it. I think that's another thing with kids on that side of town, that they just want to be a part of something. And I think it's going to be a good deal.
When you look at it, and going back on the history, I've known so many of the coaches at McLean that have done so well, and one in particular that's a very good friend of mine, Melvin Driver, and he won the state championships. But it seems like that to me, the interest that you have shown, that those kids will come and you'll have them in the palm of your hand.
Yes.
And who knows? You'll get a gold ball, Willie, before you leave.
That's the goal. You know, I wear these rings that I got. I still wear my state championship ring from Tulsa. I wear them around the school, you know. But I think that's the goal. I mean, not only are we going to win on the field, I think once we begin to win in the classroom and we begin to find the core values of education first, I think the football aspect of it is going to be easy. I mean, me speaking on it, just being loving the game, there's some athletic kids there.
Well, we want to wish you the very best luck.
Yes.
We run out of time.
Okay.
And I look forward to having you back on the show because
sir.
it's going to be a lot of fun, and we will be following you.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it.
Stay with us. More coming up right after this.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
We continue inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the head baseball coach at Booker T. Washington High School, Coach John Potosnik. And John, when we take a look at what has happened with the Booker T. Washington baseball team, it seemed as though when you first started out this spring, you had some injuries, things didn't go good, but now they are coming together.
Yeah, we've got some kids healed up, and we've created some new injuries, but some of our top pitchers are back, and they're playing really well right now, and so it's given us a big boost.
Well, on the early injuries, have they pretty much overcome them?
Yeah, basically they've overcome the one kid had a hamstring injury, and he's back to 100% healthy. The other kid is, instead of being a starting pitcher now, he's our closer. And so as a closer, he can throw about every day, but as a starter, he probably would need about 3 weeks rest. And so he's not completely healed, but he's enough to get through his senior year.
You know, when you take a look at the way they are playing all of the Class 5A teams, it seems like that this is a little different. I mean, where you're playing everybody within the bracket, other teams are playing, you win, you lose, you go there, and kind of explain that to our public.
Our regional is going to be a three-way, and so all three teams have to play each other. And so it's a little bit more difficult because, or I think it is, just because we'll probably face both teams' number one pitchers. And so where in the 4-team regional, you don't see that. Mm-hmm. And so you may only face, the number one pitcher from the higher seed, and if you can win that, then you throw your number two, and you can advance to state tournament. But here, we're going to have to really play well.
Well, how is your pitching?
Our pitching's pretty good. For about 5 deep, maybe 6, and so after that, we get a little bit suspect, and so hopefully we can go and we need to be able to win this in 3 games, or we may be in trouble.
We had you on the program back at kind of the beginning of the baseball season when you had gone to an out-of-state tournament and you had some injuries. So from that point, you have really improved, haven't you?
Yeah, from that point on, we've played pretty good. I mean, we came back for the Claremore tournament. We didn't play we played pretty good there. We lost 2 games that were really close. And then we went into the Broken Arrow tournament, and we played in the championship game. Problem with that is we ran out of pitching and had to start a freshman. And so, and then since then, we've played really well.
Oh, when you take a look at Booker T. Washington High School, there has been some pretty strong challenges put before the baseball team. When you take a look at, in football, they win a state championship. In girls basketball, they win a state championship. In the boys, they went to the finals. I mean, the state championships are coming in there, so putting pressure on you, aren't they?
A little bit. I mean, and it's good to see to try to be as good as the other teams at our school, and we have a chance to win, I think, state in both the soccers, and so, I mean, it's a good competitiveness to have between the teams, and so football set the bar, and everybody's trying to achieve that level.
John, I think that is something that a lot of times fans and parents maybe don't understand. But once a team starts winning, it's why it's so important for football to be good. If they have a good football team, it seems like that all of the others, hey, we got to match that. If they win a state championship, hey, we got to win a state title.
Yeah, and I mean, it's weird, and a lot of people don't see this, but the atmosphere at the school is so much better when the teams are winning. And they know they have a chance to go out every day and win. And so it's just the atmosphere of the whole school, the whole student body is tremendous. It's just everybody has a lot of enthusiasm.
You know, I'm glad you brought that up because I think a lot of times that people do not realize that. But once that team starts winning, it does carry over. And even the kids do better in the classroom, the discipline in the halls, everything seems to be centered toward making that school better. And if they make it better in athletics, it's better in academics.
Yes, I mean, I truly believe that. We've had some years where we struggled and the attitudes of the kids were not as good. And so, but this year, we're winning in almost every sport and the atmosphere of the kids is just tremendous.
Well, when you take a look at what's going to happen in your regional tournament, you play Claremore, and who is the other two?
McAllister.
So
they're both traditionally good teams. So it's going to be a tough regional. We're going to
be hard
to
pick out one, won't it?
Yeah, I mean we got to go out and play well and play hard every inning and see what happens.
But yet, that's what you coach your kids to do from day one.
Yeah.
That they play people that can beat them, but if we play hard and do what we're supposed to do, we can come out on top.
Yeah, and I mean that's what we talked about last night, and so that the only pressure is the pressure you put on yourself.
Well, you play at 12 o'clock and 5 o'clock on Thursday in Claremore.
Yes.
So we want to encourage the fans to get out there and watch it. I'm going to try to be there, and I'll be cheering you on.
Well, hopefully we'll do well.
Okay. Stay with us on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
Marie, you have prediabetes.
Prediabetes? I don't have time to eat right or exercise. I'm a busy mom.
Oh, you're a busy mom.
Yeah.
This is great news. Busy moms never get prediabetes.
Wait, what?
Let me just... Yeah, this is all the people at risk for prediabetes, and way over here, busy moms. No?
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we welcome aboard the Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Gil Cloud. And Gil, when we take a look at what is happening in athletics in the state of Oklahoma and the fact that just recently where they were going to put 6 of the largest schools in one district above, it wouldn't be 6A, I guess it'd be 7 or 8A, whatever it'd be. I'd like to hear your comments on this.
Boy, JB, I don't know. We came across this popped up yesterday in the House Bill 1599. So when that came across, I actually had a Channel 9 app from Oklahoma City that it came up on. And so I immediately contacted David Jackson, the executive director of the Activity Association, because normally some of the people around the state he will contact and say, hey, this is something we are for, this is something we are against. Would you please contact your local legislators and so on? Well, we'd heard nothing, and this pops up on the news flash. And so I said to David, is this something that is a threat? Do we need to do something? And last evening, he indicated to me that it had died in House committee. Get up this morning, on Tuesday morning of this week, May the 1st, and it's back alive in the Senate. So consequently, I know there are those out there that are concerned about the size of those schools. I know that there are those out there that are concerned that Owasso Jenks and Union have won the last 22 6A football championships. And my message to them is practice harder, because they do.
Well, see, this is what gets me. They've won the football for 22 years. They haven't dominated the other sports, have they?
No, I mean, you know, we've been pretty good in basketball on this side of the state, you know, for a while. And of course, our colleagues on the other side of the state, they always say that's because we play at the Mabee Center.
Yeah.
You know, but realistically, football, I mean, the domination there has just been you know, unreal. And, you know, until this past year, you know, there had only been 2 schools. Finally, Owasso got into that. And ironically, they're in the top 5 schools in size in the state. What is also ironic, though, if you tie size to that, Broken Arrow hasn't won a state championship, but they have 5,000.
Yeah.
So is size important? My feeling all along has been, and when I served on the classification committee, was that size does make a difference in the number of student athletes you have out. There's no question. You know, if I've got to pick 5 basketball players, and I'm at Broken Arrow, for instance, and I have 2,500 boys to pick from, I bet I can get 5 that are not too bad, you know. And they did. I mean, the 6A boys, they won the state championship in basketball. They have not done that in football. So I'm not sure what size does. It is an unfair advantage for those who are larger, because they do have more to draw from. You know, Booker T is actually number 34 on ADM. But as we look at that today, because the 2 schools in Oklahoma City do not play football, they move up in there in 6A too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they won the championship, and they're the smallest school in 6A football. Sometimes you have to work a little bit harder and have a little bit better talent, and I think that's maybe what happened at Booker T. Coach Caleb did a great job, but size is a determining factor. When I served on the committee, one of the things that we continued to talk about, let's look at the ratio from top to bottom. What is the difference? Well, in 6A, it's 3.5 times different from the top to the bottom.
Yeah.
If I've got 3 times more kids than you got, I've got a better chance. I mean, there's no question about it. So what we put in there, could never get it passed with the committee, was that if any time a classification went 2.25 greater from top to bottom, then the board of directors of the OSSA would consider adding a classification. The association's concern was that, well, we've added 6A1, now we have 6A2. Before long, we'll have 4A2, 4A3, 4A4,
Yeah.
because 4A and 3A do have 128 schools in them. It's not the number of schools, it's the difference in size from top to bottom that makes the difference. Just because you have a lot of schools, you get to play more games in the playoffs. I mean, they play 5 rounds in the playoffs instead of 4. So, you know, there is concern, but the bigger concern is not the competitive part of it. The bigger concern I have is the legislature is wasting their time on the rules that govern athletics in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah, because anytime that the state legislature gets involved with eligibility and all of the things that the athletic directors work with every day, I shudder to think what would happen. Gil, we run out of time in this segment, but we want to come back and see what's happening in the Tulsa Public Schools at the end of the school year.
Sounds great.
Stay with us. We're back with Gil Cloud right after this.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're feeding America.
Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Welcome back to Inside Tulsa Athletics as we continue visiting with the Director of Athletics for the Tulsa Public Schools, Gil Cloud. And Gil, you know, we've talked a lot about what's happened in football and the classifications, but let's look at what's going to happen with Tulsa Public Schools between now, say, the end of school and maybe in the future.
Well, our staff, you know, has been on today to talk about all of the areas that they supervise and the regional track meets and baseball games and golf tournaments and tennis tournaments and soccer and so on. And you know, we're real excited. I got to tell you, you know, Booker T's girls soccer team is awful good. They've won 12 in a row.
Wow!
And after starting out 1-2, and during that 12 times they've shut out their opponent. They have not scored a goal during those 12 games. And of course, our East Central Cardinals, a boys soccer team, Connor Whitham, 15-0. And I noticed, you know, in the Tulsa World today, they said that Booker T girls and the East Central boys were the team to beat in 5A boys and girls. So I hope that's true. That would be a combination of a year for us where if both of them won, we would have 5 state championships this year. Which would be outstanding.
Have we ever had that before, Gil?
You know, I don't know, JV. I'll have to do some research on that, and I'll know the next time when I'm here. But I think it's really fantastic that through all of the walkout, the budget cuts, everything that our coaches have endured over the past 2 years with the finances, I am so proud of every one of them that they've done such a great job to keep their head up, continue to coach those kids, and to produce the kind of product that we have.
And you know, this is something that comes out of me every time we talk about and think about this, is the fact that you begin to look at some of the success that the teams have had, and they have kids coming in. That success isn't going to die like a snap of a finger.
Oh no, you know, you look at the numbers. Our numbers are up actually in participation, and you know, with us being able to reinstitute 7th grade athletics this next year, that's really going to help us retain kids, get more kids in the program earlier on, and so we're excited about that. So yeah, you're right. I think with participation up and our success rate that we've had this year. You know, I mean, the winter was fabulous. You know, we have the boys and girls 5A state champions in basketball, and the boys state championship in swimming, and the girls runner-up. And the Booker T boys were runner-up in 5A boys. So, you know, we've had a tremendous winter, and if we can follow that with a good spring, we'll feel really good going into the off-season in the summer.
Well, we're going to have an opportunity, you know, to watch Booker T Washington's baseball, because he has done a tremendous job out there, and those kids have come along from the beginning when they had some injuries and this sort of thing, and now they are playing at their peak. So
well, 12-2 and won the district title. You know, and now the one thing that I'm really a little upset with, you know, the baseball coaches group went to the association 2 years ago, and they passed a rule that if you don't have lights, you can't host a regional. Now that's not, well, because they say you have too much loss of school time to be able to play the games. First day you're supposed to play 3 games. But if you have to play 3 games in the first day of the regional and you don't have lights, that means you're going to have to start one of those games around noon. So that means 2 schools are going to have to get out around 8 or 9, depending on how far they have to travel. So loss of school time was what they said. I don't think it's right. I don't think it's fair that Booker T won their district and now have to go to Claremore to play their championship district. You know, and because Claremore is formidable. I mean, Claremore's got a good baseball program. So, you know, but that's how it is. And so I learned a long time ago that if you start worrying about where you're playing and not who you're playing, you're going to have a problem. So we can't worry about where we're playing. We just need to worry about who we're playing.
That's right, because the bases are the same distance.
That's exactly
right.
The
pitching is the same. Everything is there, and it seems like a lot anymore that there's not as many fans that support spring baseball as they used to.
Well, you know, baseball's tough because you play early afternoon when you don't have lights. So a lot of people are still at work at that time.
Yeah.
And then the weather has been so volatile that they may play today and may not play tomorrow. Or you may not know when the makeup game is because you have to just do that on the run sometimes to get them in. And now with districts in baseball, you have to play those district games for sure. I disagree with one of the things our coaches have done in baseball, not just our coaches, but our coaches statewide. They've said, okay, we're going to play a home and home on a Monday and Tuesday. Well, from an athletic director standpoint, that's expensive because if we have to go to Durant on Monday and come back and play Durant on Tuesday, why didn't we just play a doubleheader on Monday? And then next year Durant would come up here. We wouldn't have to go to Durant every year.
That's too simple, Gil.
Well, yeah, that's the AD talking now. You know, it has to worry about the money, the bottom line. But you know, we're going to have David Jackson on our Sports Scene show next week, and he'll be able to really itemize all of the regional and looking forward to the state tournaments and everything, and from a statewide perspective.
Yeah.
I think that'll really be good.
Well, I certainly look forward to it, and again, time goes so quickly when we're visiting, but we'll see you next week.
I'll see you next time.
Stay with us here on Inside Tulsa Athletics. More coming up right after this.
Stuff. When you don't want it, what do you do with it? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. There, you'll learn what to do with stuff you don't know what to do with. Just give us a click. TulsaRefuse.org. It's what you do when you don't know what to do with stuff. Are you suffering from stuff? Stuff you don't know how to get rid of? Go to TulsaRefuse.org. Learn how to get rid of stuff easily and properly. TulsaRefuse.org. Just give us a click. It's that simple.
Thanks for being with us today on Inside Tulsa Athletics. Hope you enjoyed the show, and more important, we want to encourage you to continue to support the athletic programs of the Tulsa Public Schools. And we know this, that Gil Cloud and his staff do a tremendous job of bringing you the best in high school athletics here in the Tulsa Public Schools. So we'll see you again next time right here on Inside Tulsa Athletics.